It's totally false. I was outraged.
Years before Michael Jackson passed away, rumors started circulating about his alleged fourth child.
Yes, I knew he had another son.
But it wasn't until Michael's passing that one of his family members finally spoke out about his rumored secret son, Omer Body.
He looks like a Jackson, he acts like a Jackson, he can dance like a Jackson.
So who exactly is Omer? And was Michael really his father? The bizarre truth about their connection is seriously insane, so let's break it down. After Michael tragically passed away in June 2009, his mother Catherine was granted custody of his 3 kids, Paris, Prince, and Biggie. But what happened 2 weeks later was honestly unbelievable. Michael's memorial service was aired around the world on a live broadcast. That meant millions of people could see Michael's kids seated in the front row next to their closest relatives, but also sitting among the family members was someone truly unexpected. Omer, who was 25 years old at the time, was surrounded by Michael's siblings and children. The fact that he was in a group of people who were all related to each other only added to the secret son rumors, but the uncanny resemblance between Omer and Michael was impossible to ignore. Shortly after Michael's memorial service, his father, Joe Jackson, was interviewed by TV One. Not surprisingly, the interviewer mentioned the rumors about Omer, but when he was asked what he thought about the crazy speculations, Joe made a bombshell revelation. Shockingly, Joe revealed that Omer really was Michael's fourth child. He claimed that he had known the truth about Michael's secret son for a while. Joe added that Omer acted and danced just like a Jackson, but Michael and Omer also shared other remarkable similarities. When you look at older photos of Michael from before his plastic surgeries, he and Omer are almost exactly alike in their upper face areas. Aside from Omer having a slightly more angular chin and jaw than Michael, their similarities are absolutely unreal. Plus, it's true that Omer has the ability to dance just like Michael. He's extremely talented and he's actually taught dance classes in the past, but even though Omer and Michael danced the same and looked incredibly alike, there wasn't any real proof they were related. Despite Joe's admission that Omer was Michael's biological son, there were still some mysterious details that didn't make complete sense. But one of the biggest signs that something wasn't adding up had to do with reports that were published a week earlier. Just days before Joe's interview, Omer was allegedly planning on taking a DNA test. He found out from all of the media coverage that many people were convinced he could be Michael's son, and he wanted to know, without a doubt, if Michael was really his dad. But this is where things get super confusing. A few days after Joe said that Omer was Michael's son, the Daily Mirror published an article that completely contradicted things. According to sources claiming to be friends of Omer, he reportedly told them that Michael was not his father. Instead, Omer had been best friends with Michael, which is why he was sitting with the Jackson family at the memorial service. But that wasn't all. Although Omer supposedly didn't have any kind of biological relation to Michael, he knew what had probably sparked the secret son rumors. Apparently, Michael told Omer all the time that he viewed him just like a son, but their very close bond was most likely due to how much time they spent together. Omer was born in Norway, and he became interested in dancing at an early age. He idolized Michael and would even dress up like him for some of his Norwegian TV show performances. But what happened when Michael first met Omer's family was seriously crazy. In October 1996, Omer and his family were visiting his uncle in Tunisia. Coincidentally, Michael was also in Tunisia for one of the stops on his History World Tour. When he left his hotel, he ended up meeting Omer, his sister Shasta, and their parents outside. After Michael and the Baddises talked for a couple of hours, he invited them to live at Neverland Ranch. He could also offer Pia, Omer's mother, a job as a nanny there, so the family decided to move. But what happened next was truly unbelievable. Since Michael had many other stops to make on his world tour, he thought it would be fun for Omer, who was 11 years old, to go with him. Michael asked the Baddises if Omer could travel with him around the world, and they surprisingly agreed. After Michael brought Omer back to his parents in Norway, it wasn't long before the family moved to Neverland Ranch. Michael gave Omer's dad a job as a driver, while Pia helped take care of Prince, Paris, and eventually Biggie. Omer supposedly lived at Neverland Ranch for around 7 years. During that time, all 3 Michael Michael's kids were born, so Omer was able to form special bonds with them. He later explained that he felt like they were his biological siblings, and they apparently felt the same way. Omer was almost 19 when Michael left Neverland Ranch and started moving around a lot. Eventually, Omer realized it would be more stable for him to move back to Norway, but what he decided to do once he settled in was surprising. Omer was determined to follow his dream of launching his own music career. He became pretty well known as a rapper and a professional dancer under the stage name Obi. Over the years, he's gone back and forth from Norway to California, most of the time for his work in the entertainment industry. Omer was absolutely crushed when he learned that Michael had passed away, but as we saw from the memorial service, he was still close with most of the Jackson family. For some unknown reason though, it seems like Omer prefers to not talk a lot about Michael anymore. It's possible that it's still too painful for him to discuss Michael after his passing, but based on some of the subtle comments he's made throughout the years, Omer really values his privacy. But that doesn't mean he's trying to forget the years he spent with the Jacksons. Omer is definitely still close with Michael's kids. Now, even if they're in different countries, they still try to be involved in each other's lives. In 2020, Omer, Prince, Paris, and Biggie all met up to work on a movie project together, but that wasn't the only thing they managed to accomplish. During that same trip, Omer and the Jackson siblings were all filmed for an episode of Paris's Facebook Watch series Unfiltered. They seemed so accepting of each other, even when they were getting on each other's nerves. Paris revealed that she'd always consider Omer her bigger brother, and he admitted that she was always going to be his little sister. Omer, Prince, and Biggie also have a brotherly bond, but there are times when they team up mainly for business reasons. Since Biggie works as a producer now, he's actually helped Omer create some of his music. Overall, it seems like Omer and all three of Michael's kids will forever have loving, supportive roles in one another's lives. Omer has clearly had a really fascinating life so far, despite all of the strange rumors that he's had to ignore or shut down. But it's still so crazy that Joe publicly claimed that Michael was Omer's real father when that almost certainly isn't true. There have been some bizarre speculations about why Omer and his parents agreed to move halfway across the world to Neverland Ranch. I mean, it is pretty insane that they decided to make such a huge change in their lives after knowing Michael for less than a day. Some people are still theorizing that Omer really is Michael's son. They also believe that Pia might have had one night of romance with Michael, if you know what I mean. According to that fan theory, Michael had worked out an agreement with her so that she would move closer. That way, Michael could raise Omer for at least part of his childhood. I'm not sure I believe that, even though it is wild that Michael and Omer shared so many similarities. But now that we've gotten into the rumors about Omer being Michael's secret son, I want to know what your thoughts are. Why do you think Joe Jackson publicly announced that Michael was Omer's real father? What are your thoughts on how quickly Michael and Omer's family decided to basically live and work together? Let me know in the comments below.